Hello, this is Jared playing Oxygen Not Included. In the last episode, I set up a nuclear power plant right here. We're just waiting for this steam to get hot enough for the steam turbines to actually generate some power. But we're going to have lots and lots of power for our base. So now I have many more options at my disposal to enhance my base. The other thing is I am able to produce a lot of rad bolts, which is right now feeding into the material study terminal. That's going to unlock all kinds of other tech. So with this power coming and the rad bolt research being at full tilt, let's get started with enhancing this base. I think the very first thing to do is quickly put in an arcade unit right here with a little bit of decoration. So starting off, now dupes have an arcade to use, and they have a very attractive room to use it in. Thinking about this, probably should have spent more decoration over here. Actually, technically, is this even a Great Hall? No, it is not, because this decoration... Okay, we definitely need to put a decoration in our Great Hall. Our future Great Hall now, I should say. So I decided, instead of decorating this area for eating, why not relocate down here? And the purpose for that is just keeping it close to the kitchen. Every cycle, the dupe's going to go down here, grab their food. Figured if I build a ladder, they can go up here and just easily go into the spot where they can eat. And of course, we'll have some lights and heavy amount of decoration for them to enjoy their great food in. So the Research Reactor is now generating enough heat to be able to put the steam turbines on. I only see liquid waste down here, no more water, so we can enable these two guys. Enable and enable, and that's going to start to remove the nuclear waste so that doesn't build up too much. And all this power is going to be able to be used by the base now. So still working on constructing this area. Going to put some carpeted tiles down so the dupes will be able to have some extra relaxation while they eat. So noticed meteorites keep striking down here, which keeps pushing my petroleum down, and that was forcing me to do more mopping up. So I used to have a bunker door right here and decided, well, this rocket actually doesn't need it. Might as well just replace it with pure bunker tiles that's closed all the time. Hopefully that's going to stop the meteorites from going there. I'll see how this modification goes. And giving a modification to this rocket basically only ever goes up a single tile, throws down a rover, and then comes back down. But now I have plans for it. So we're just making it more livable. It'll have a storage for a small amount of food. It'll have a washroom, a little bit of oxygen generation, just enough so that this can get over to this world. Because what I want to do over here is get access... Oh, wrong asteroid. Well, let me demonstrate actually the problem down here. This is my carbon dioxide store. This is what I'm using to send rovers down on this world. And we're getting low. And if I look over in this zone, I can see that the carbon dioxide atmosphere is just not what it used to be. So that solid carbon dioxide that was dropped off much earlier is just not doing its thing anymore. But I do have a lot of carbon dioxide over on this world, Gallipulin, I guess. But there's two carbon dioxide geysers, and they're just solid carbon dioxide. So if I can get someone, and I'm figuring, well, might as well actually do a... Well, this guy actually completely frozen over. But I thought, well, we might as well actually just send a rover to do this. But anyway, that's a plan for that rocket. So here is the new Great Hall. There should no longer be any confusion or whether or not this is a Great Hall. I was relying just on a single plant before, and that was failing, and I was actually getting a mess hall. But we definitely have... Oops, that's the wrong view. That we definitely have a Great Hall. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to assign tables. I'm going to get dupes that are on break at the same time to sit next to each other. Just so that we have these situations where they can have a conversation while both of them eat. Decided to send a dupe over via teleportation. rather than send a rover. Part of that realization is I don't think I want to get access to some of the enriched uranium, and I think this is a dupe-only task. So I'll figure I'll have them drop off carbon dioxide as well as some enriched uranium back to the base. Do we not have power? Okay, we should definitely have power, because over on the other world, I notice a buildup of hydrogen. That's because these guys are never going off, because the smart battery's never detecting power is needed, because, well, we're generating too much power right now. But we should be directing hydrogen. Oh. Oh. Okay, well, that's why. So digging out this top area, essentially want to relocate the Atmo suits to be at the very top, so the dupes don't have to put them on until the very last second until they get out in this space area. So the hydrogen pump is running once again. If we look over in this world, we should see some hydrogen running. That's just going to prevent the dupe on this side of things from having to use a manual generator. So after having this dupe here, I've looked around and realizing that these geysers are locked up. Over the short term, doesn't really matter because I still have an excess amount of water back in the base. But I'm thinking, just to avoid meteorites from clogging this up, I might want to put some protection there from meteorites falling and covering up these guys. Also, not entirely certain if these guys are freezing. Oh no, that's regular. Yeah, that is definitely from meteorites. We need to just cover these guys, essentially. So I'm going to have to send some steel over with the teleportation equipment to this world. So I've carved out this path for dupes to be able to put their Atmo suits in. But I'm worried about this ice eventually melting and leaking down here. So I haven't dug out this tile. And just getting the dupes to dump all this material here. Thought it was just easier for my sake of things of building this machine rather than having to click and hit the move to option. Maybe if they had the ability to select multiple things. Is that a thing? Let's see. It is not. I didn't think so. So that would be kind of a neat feature, but in place of that, this guy here will do just fine. Just noticed that the dupes are actually taking ice in a different location. Just curious. They're going to put that in a bad spot. Oh no, that's fine. Okay, actually that's completely fine. I was a little bit worried they were going to put it in some sort of storage container that was going to leak water over the floor, but apparently I thought of this long ahead. I didn't have to build this guy right here after all. So we now have the Atmo suit stations in, putting in 8. Eventually I'll have more room to expand, but for now I'll start with 8. That being put in, we can now disable this set, eventually destroy that, and we're going to destroy this tile and connect the tubes that dupes can actually be dropped off. Actually, maybe I'll even bring that up one more, just so that they can be dropped off right here. That's just essentially maximizing the time that the dupes stay out of the Atmo suits and into their normal, I guess, normal wear, just because they're faster. So a little bit of a base optimization. I'm going to be building some Radbolt rockets and doing a lot more stuff in space, so just nice to have that little bit of optimization instead of having that right there. Speaking of suits and wear and all that type of thing, I kind of forgot about this guy. A snazzy suit. Let's make 10. I think a few of the dupes already have snazzy suits because we found them in lockers. But there's no reason why all the dupes can't have a snazzy suit at this point in the game, so let's start that process now. So this rocket is about to set off. This time, instead of sending a rover on this asteroid, click the launch button, and we're going to find that it's going to be flying over here and dropping a rover to help out construction over on this world. Now it's time to give out snazzy suits to all the dupes. Chef is picking out their new suit, putting it on. Artist is next. 2 more dupes over here. They're all enjoying their better looking clothing, adding some decoration value around themselves. So with the mass amount of power that I'm getting here, I think that is making power plants redundant. So I'm going to get rid of all my power control stations. I think I just had one there. I think the other one that I had was down here. Check on things here. This isn't operating simply because this battery is telling it not to. Even though it is pretty warm in that area. So if I wanted to drive power, I could. So this is the very first time I'm sending a rover on another asteroid than my homeworld, after probably thousands of landings of these things. Finally getting one that's going to be going somewhere else. Let's see, let's put that right there. And while that's being dropped up, the other dupe can go back home. We'll see. Oh, we gotta go to the right asteroid here, but we'll see the first landing of a rover on another asteroid. Here it is, and this guy is going to be able to help build some stuff that I want to put over here. What I'm trying to do is put in some Atmo suits for the dupes that are in these zones. I'm going to have an Atmo suit right here because it's really cold up in this zone. But I thought it'd also be smart to have an Atmo suit right here, because this zone is also very cold and not necessarily breathable. We're going to need an oxygen system, so we've got the one dupe here to do that. I'm going to bring over another dupe to help with construction, but at least they've got a rover to help out as well. So this construction should speed up a little bit more now with all that. Skill scrub this dupe and just give them a few skills, digging, a little bit of building and supply, just that they can go over to this other world and help set up a base and ultimately protect these geysers, because I don't want any more regolith falling on it and blocking them off anymore. So it is the end of cycle 300. Let's just look at where we are in terms of survivability. Well, we've got this thing here producing an immense amount of power and rad volts, so we can do a lot with just that. We have over 1 million calories of food. We are able to store that in a location where it's never going to go bad. And we have tons of liquid. Just waiting for the dupes to put in this line here, because what this is going to do, eventually this last little bit of liquid's going to run out. But I've got this huge pool of liquid from here, so this pump will start to kick in from that perspective. Just making an oxygen system here because I've got a lot of hydrogen building up around the base, and I think we need to clean that up at this point. And speaking of hydrogen, we definitely have a buildup just because the smart batteries are keeping these guys from running. Anyways, lots more to do, but a lot has also been accomplished in this space. Thanks everyone for watching so far. We're going to continue on. So I've got a series of pumps and 3 different electrolyzers. So the bottom pumps are for oxygen. This single one will be for the hydrogen, and this is going to supply the oxygen for all the base. To do some basic filtering, I'm going to do that over in this zone, but I also want to clear out a little bit of space to do some cooling, because these guys are going to produce a fair bit of heat, and I want to make sure that the oxygen that I'm pushing out to the rest of the base is cool oxygen, not hot oxygen. So just starting the oxygen system over here. This is doing a little bit of filtering, just to make sure we just get oxygen. And that's going to be pushing oxygen through the to the 2 different Atmo suits. Oh yeah, I have to bring those Atmo suits over from this world. Brought them into the teleportation equipment. They're sitting here. If I throw those on the ground, then they'll be brought over, and those dupes can load them. So then, now they'll have atmo suits to wear in some of the really cold or extreme places in this asteroid. Been pushing tiles this way to get to this little water area that will be over on this side, just so I can get a direct ladder and fire pole to go down on this side. Only be able to go down so far because I've got a gold volcano right there. Some little baby pecus are in there, so I'm going to encourage them to go to this ocean on the bottom of this asteroid. Got a new carbon dioxide pump. That's taking the carbon dioxide from this zone. Because the pump that I had down here, there is still carbon dioxide here. It's just very thin, so I thought it'd be more appropriate to move that over here. I'm using a lot of this carbon dioxide to send more rovers down. So this is kind of a very valuable tool to have. So I did it again and designed a way so that the rovers couldn't get back into the bit. Oh, look, the rover can stand on top of this thing, but they can't go directly across the fire pole. This is interesting. I was wondering why all my rovers weren't helping out construct the base. So come back in and help me build this oxygen system. Just digging out slime in this area. That's why I have all these deodorizers, just to ensure that doesn't turn to slime slung and polluted oxygen. Let's make sure that's not the case over here. So far, so good. A little bit of filtering for oxygen in these systems. Got 3 different pipelines. So 2 pumps per pipeline and 3 pipelines of oxygen that's going to go all through the base and provide oxygen everywhere. So kind of running an experiment here. I brought over steel to build bunker tiles to protect these things. And I thought, what's the chances that the meteorites are just going to land on this, causing minimum damage and just building up here anyways. Even if these tiles themselves take damage, as long as nothing gets through, it won't be a problem. A little bit of a big experiment, but I'll see how this goes. This is a Doomsday setting, so we shall see in the future. Making changes to the gas piping system, and it's a little complex trying to get around, but I essentially want to have 3 lines that provide oxygen through the base, as well as provide oxygen to the atmosuits that are around as well. So the meteorites that are currently landing don't seem to be going so great. It's giving us a little bit of material, but causing damage on these tiles. I was hoping I'd have some material accumulate on top of some of the damage, so that further meteorites would strike that, but that doesn't seem to be the case. Anyway, I may have to look at the bunker tiles, as I was thinking initially. So the oxygen system is now on. That's filtering for oxygen. Anything that's non-oxygen is going to be sent out, but then I have 3 lines of oxygen now going up. Starting to vent as it's making its way up, splitting here at this point in 3 different directions. And it's going to be visiting the base, venting out around the living area, as well as going off and visiting all the different atmosuits that are around here as well. So dug around this thing, didn't expect to have a lot of heat addition here to the base, but looks like I am, so I'm just going to add a bit of extra insulation around this guy, just for heat protection. Speaking of heat, I've just enabled the cooling line to go through this area. That's going to be important because it's already had a little bit of heat. Cooling is helping. I think it's more important we add the insulation over here for the time being. Eventually, I think I'm going to have a dedicated system to deal with the cooling of just this area, because this is very important, people. Currently not doing anything with the hydrogen, so let's just put that into 2 of these guys for now. And eventually I'll be
doing other things with that hydrogen. We do not want that hydrogen to build up. So here is the oxygen system. We've got a system to deal with the excess hydrogen. I'll have actually more uses for that, but for the time being, it's really nice that hydrogen is contained in here and dealt with rather than going all through the base. So currently, I still have lots of little pieces of hydrogen floating around the base. That should stop being the case because I've gotten rid of the electrolyzers that are around here, because instead of having those, I get oxygen from these vents that are located all around the base. Now, right now, I just have them around the core of the base, but further away, I'll be able to actually have vents down here. I'll have vents down here, and that's really just going to push carbon monoxide and other gases down and just increase the amount of oxygen everywhere without the need of having little bits of hydrogen all around. So I think one of the things I do want to do is have a separate cooling system at some point for these guys, because I'm very cautious about continually running them and the amount of heat that I'm going to be producing. So look for that soon. I also want to expand the number of decorations and rec rooms. Currently just have this guy here that we put together, but there's lots more we can do, especially since I've got tons of power that I'm producing. And over in this world, it looks like this experiment was a complete disaster. That's alright. I will come up with another plan here and figure out how we want to protect these guys, both from the meteorites and stuff landing on it, as well as the heat from the regolith, so that I can continue to get lots of liquid and store that in my homeworld. Well, thank you everyone for watching. Thanks anyone for liking and subscribing, and hopefully I will see you in a future video where I'll continue to expand this space, because there's still lots to be done. Until then, speaking of lots to be done, I have to worry about hydrogen. Anyway, that'll be next time.